Hey, Shalom, giving all praise unto Yahweh, Shema Shai, Bashim Kodash, double honors unto the apostles of Great Mount Stone, known as two brothers to be pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. The brother High Body are coming out here to give you this truth for the grace and mercy of the Lord. Yahweh Shema Shai. This is going to be a relatively quick video, an MOTB update, if you will. And this is speaking on this particular article, is speaking with regards to Turkey. And it's important to note that these countries throughout the four corners of the earth, this is the direction they're all going in, especially as we see the implications, or evermore the result of the lockdowns and how that's impacted inflation and the global economy. It's clear to see that they did this in order to have the MOTB system pushed forward, and therefore now everything is coming together. So Britain tomorrow, they're pretty much going to be announcing an increase in rates from the Bank of England, and that's going to negatively impact the global, not the global market, but rather more the domestic market, the housing market, and how much it costs to have a mortgage. So it's going to be interesting what they're going to do tomorrow, but whatever raise they're going to do is going to have a negative impact on people's wallets. So, a lot of these countries are in a financial doom, for lack of a better word. So this C-19 thing, it did what it had to do. It destabilized the global economy. Now we're at the precipice of a great recession, if you will, with the solution that they've mentioned a handful of times here within the UK is that the CBDC, the Bitcoin, and Sunak has been a pusher of the Bitcoin. They've mentioned that the solution is going to be to introduce the new currencies. Right, and when you check out how these currencies come into circulation or how they're created, pretty much the whole thing was going to crash because you got to borrow a dollar into existence. So by the time you get $2-3, how are you going to pay the first one off? You're going to fractional reserve banking. I mean, it's a madness. It's a racket, right? It's a racket. The whole money system is a racket. Even Henry Ford said that. He said if these people understood how the financial system worked, they would revolt. Okay, so it was all set up to fail. Nevertheless, let's go into this article right quick here. It says Turkey to integrate digital currency with national identity system. One thing that comes to mind when I read national identity system in terms of how everything is digitized, right? In countries where you don't have digital national identity, there is particular things that you could do and get away with without it kind of following you up. So if you're a tradesman, you can accept cash and pretty much not have to pay taxes to a certain degree. What else comes to mind? Let's say if you run a light or you're speeding in your car. Again, potentially what you could do is you could have another person stand in for you when they say, look, who's responsible for speeding? And you could say, you could have a standing, right? That's what some people do. And they sell off their points or whatever on their license, right? But you've got a digitized identity system out there. I think is in United Arab Emirates, right? And within the United Arab Emirates, whether it's your driving license, whether it's your so-called medical records, and you've seen what they've done with the so-called medical side of things, and how they can use the medical side of things to manipulate and make you do things adverse to your own freedom. You can see how a digital ID is going to be fundamental in establishing what is spoken about within the book of Revelations, the 13th chapter and the 16th verse. So you integrate the money side of it there. It's like, yeah, that's the MOTB outside of the physical implantation of it. Right, that's everything that we're reading in this article is the MOTB. Aside from the fact that it's not this here, according to this article, is not injected in you, right? It's just gonna be somewhere on a database somewhere, but they're gonna say, look, security concerns. This system is hackable. Let's make it not hackable. Implantation. They're gonna say, look, this is the that was generation 1. Generation 2 is gonna be the implantation. You see that? So they're making leaps and bounds to establish their enterprise. They're making leaps and bounds to establish their enterprise. But you could scoff and say, "Oh, that can't be it. That's something totally different because you don't understand the gradualism." Turkey to integrate the currency with national digital identity system, right? He calls it all to both small and great, to rich and poor, to receive a mark. You can't buy or sell, say if you have the mark. The mark, we've seen many people saying, you had Nate saying, "Where's my dog?" Yeah, it was an identifying chip within the dog. But now they're saying they're going to link up the identifying chip with what? With the CBDCs, the programmable money. We're going to give everybody £1,000 to live at home with, right, off the Bitcoins, 1,000 Bitcoins, right, to pay your bills and everything. But guess what? You can only use the Bitcoins to pay for what you have to pay for. That's the programmable money, right? The integration will form part of the next phase of the country's central bank digital Turkish lira research and development project that will also include testing the use. It's not testing the use. This has been pre-planned for a long time, man. That's where guys get messed up within the spirits, because you don't understand that these elites have got a plan. They've got an agenda. They've got an enterprise, right? And they're further in their enterprise, right? Throughout the four corners of the earth, they're further in it, and they'll use the guise of gradualism to do that. They'll use the guise of, a false flag to do that. Oh, because of this false flag, we got to do X, Y, and Z, so we don't end up in this situation again, right? It's all lies and deceit. That's why the scripture says, see, like, what's the word I'm looking for here? That particular man that made the whole world. Sorry, it's coming back to me, right? We should bound Satan 1,000 years, right? That he should deceive the nations until those 1,000 years be fulfilled. So this man he's got a legacy of lying. He's got a legacy of lying, and they further their agenda through the sword and lies, right? They further their agenda through the sword and lies, right? So hopefully that was of edification. With that, I'm gonna say all praise unto Yahweh Hashem, the great millstone. Not your brothers to be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.